What's up, guys? We got part 2 of this new Chosen Company video, By Any Means Necessary. They're currently clearing out trenches and doing more badass shit, so it's just starting to kick off, so I'm excited to see what happens. So real quick, my name is Saxon. I go by Vegas here in Ukraine. I was in the International Legion. I'm still in Ukraine. I'm no longer with the Legion. I'm now with the Azov, specifically Azov International Battalion. Azov is 100% the most professional unit I've been with here in Ukraine, worked with, been around, seen operate, all of the above. If you're on your way out to Ukraine, you're considering coming out, whatever it is, hit us up. I'll link all of our contact details in the description below. There's a handful of people I have been late to respond to. I'm currently doing some training, so I'm trying to balance training and reaching out to people, so I might end up asking one of our other people in headquarters to contact you if you reach out to me. So it's all love. Don't hate me forever. I just train a little bit and then I'll be back at it. But let's watch Chosen Company kick some ass.
I'm pretty sure.
Rewind a little bit.
Throwing close to yourself.
Got it? Yep. Get back. Yep, get down. Woo! Let's go.
We get to the end of the trench. We got it all cleared of enemies and whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure this is the fucking end. All right, here.
Take a knee. Spread out, boys.
109 itself, it was easy because the Russians hadn't manned it. They were there previously, but they kept on running every time the Ukrainians would bombard the trench. So they would come back, but I guess luckily for us, when we got there, they had all abandoned it and left. So it made it really easy for us to clear. It was just a long trench, so it took a lot of grenades to clear as well. And by the end of the operation, we were, I think, black on grenades. So like that's how much we use them too. We took casualties on the part of the trench where we entered because there was a wide junction, you see, and it was quite deep, but there were a lot of unexploded munitions laying around, like whether they were cassettes, like damaged mine cassettes, RPG warheads and such as well. During one of the AGS bursts, it ignited an RPG round that was there as well, and that injured one of our guys too, and he had to get taken away.
Oh, fuck!
Holy shit!
I'm hit! Ah, fuck! My fucking back. Where hit? My back. Ah, fuck.
And your leg.
Yeah, my leg too. Okay.
Move backwards on the turn. Move now. No, stay. We need to.
Tourniquet. I've been saying this literally since day one of me making videos, but know your tourniquets, how to apply them, what good tourniquets are, what bad tourniquets are. This one he's using, you can see down here, is a Cat. It's Cat 6 or Cat 7. Very good brand.
I don't think it's tight enough.
You're good?
Yeah, fucking almost got me.
Yeah.
I'm lightheaded.
Yes. You do know where the hit is?
Yeah.
Here.
I think I redo my tourniquet. Can you redo my tourniquet?
Hey. No.
Oh, he passed out.
Hey. You awake? Hey. Oi. Fuck. I'm gonna stay awake.
Shit.
Where's his med?
What do you need?
Tourniquet. The tourniquet.
A tourniquet. I got one in cargo.
Here, I need his fucking
Medic bag?
medic bag. Where's medic?
Here, pull my belt. It's on the back. Fuck my life.
It's fine, don't worry. You're gonna have a nice holiday, you know.
Fucking great first mission.
Don't worry.
I got hit in the back too.
We will check it soon.
Okay.
He survived, he's okay, but yeah, at the time that was just one more person that we lost, and I think we had we lost one other to a concussion as well, and eventually Swede had to go as well because he was showing symptoms of a concussion too. So we were down like 3 guys before or around nightfall.
Fuck artillery. The next position Samara, and at this point it's probably like 8 o'clock, still light outside. The Ukrainian commanders keep pushing us on to continue during daytime, but I kept saying no, we have to wait until nighttime because then the drone threat is almost gone, and drones 100% like fighting Russians is more like of a battle of skill. Drones is nothing with skill. You can be the best operator in the world and still get killed by a drone. But when you are fighting against another soldier, it's more about your personal soldiering skills. So it's a little bit more it's a little bit easier in my opinion. So I told them to wait.
Bro, this shit is okay with me. Fucking sitting there, me and fucking Con had no overhead fucking cover. We were literally sitting there just watching every fucking drone fly by.
All day?
Fuck yes, all goddamn day. Because everybody was packed in all the fucking bunkers, man.
That's true. But it was a very quiet day. I've never experienced such a quiet day here.
Oh, dude,
before.
I was so scared of fucking suicide drones. I'm like, artillery I can fucking deal with. I hear one. That sounds like a suicide drone.
Yeah, there's the noise. Fuck, that is awful.
That's a fucking drone.
It's back behind you. Back behind you.
Where?
Look, you see it?
Holy fuck.
Oh my god.
Where is it?
The plan was to wait till
I can't
nightfall,
see it.
and then under night vision we would then go attack Samara because we didn't want to cross that open ground which ran on the southern side of the tree line in view of the other Russian positions to the south. We wanted to do it at night so we could make sure that we weren't at least seen by then. So we waited till nightfall, we set up security.
Hold on tight and enjoy the ride. Yeah. Now you got your first experience of artillery.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's fucking not bad. It's fucking...
Drones are my worst fear.
Yeah, mine too.
It's like an artillery shell and a sniper rifle combined.
Yeah.
Good point.
It got dark. The proven path is not through the tree line, but we have to go out on the field and follow a Russian proven path because we were so scared of mines, because we got told it was filled with mines everywhere. We go on the proven path. We see that we are trying to identify where this trench system starts, the new one, Precision Samara. Some sporadic gunfire started, and while this is happening, we're all laying down in the middle of the field, and we are like talking about what we should do next. And I come with the brilliant idea of maybe try to maybe yell to him, surrender in Russian. So a teammate of mine yells surrender in Russian. The Russian in pure spite yells back "Idi nahuy," that means suck my dick. And he starts firing again with the PKM. At this point, because we have cleared the entire trench 109 before, we were all low on ammo, so we decided to go back to 109. We go back and we make a new strategy. We need to get in there as quickly as possible before he gets ready. And while we are tanking up, the Ukrainians send in the massive Ukrainian drone Baba Yaga to throw down mortar shells and grenades and whatever it can carry. And they told us like he's in the bunker now hiding from the drone, so you should strike now. We go back, this is during night, completely darkness, so we are all under night vision and lasers. We get into the trench, we start looking around, but this Russian was a very hard nut to crack. While this was happening, he had crawled out of the trench. So while we were clearing into the trench, he was shooting down into the trench.
Oh.
So while all this is happening, two guys is trying to suppress him, and we are trying to go around.
And this is the first time I've had grenades thrown at me as well too. And so, you know, when you pull the pin, throw the grenade, the fuse pops, right? And it's you know what happens when you throw it, but when it's coming at you, it's a completely different feeling, right? And you're like, oh fuck, like where is it?
And that's the day I found out that Russian F1 grenades, they glow on the night vision. So I just look back and I just see like, it almost looks like a candlelight flying towards me. And it flies like this away from my face and it hits the wall of the trench and thuds down right in front of me.
I have my mate next to me and we hear a pop from the grenade. And he's like, oh shit, get down. And he jumps onto me. The grenade lands behind him somewhere. He jumps onto me and we fall over. And the grenade goes off and I think his foot and leg are very lightly injured, but he's fine.
The first thing he says to me after I just saved his life was, get the fuck off me. And I yelled to him, there was a fucking grenade, you idiot. I don't care, we need to clear this trench. We get up again.
So at this stage, we're figuring out, okay, like what can we do? How should we tackle this? And then a drone, so we didn't notice at the time, but a Ukrainian drone came in and dropped a really big bomb on the trench. And we thought it was a Russian mortar because it hadn't come over comms that the Ukrainians were coming to drop a bomb, right? And the bomb went off and we're like, fuck it, like let's withdraw back to 109 again.
We had Ukrainian drone teams that were able to drop some ordnance on the Russian positions where the Russians were. There must have been a miscommunication in comms because after the explosion happened, the team then had to make their way back to 109 because it was a very big explosion and they probably thought that it could have been Russian.
We go back, and at this point I've been blown up so many times today that my head is completely out of the game at this point. I tell the boys, like, I can't really see straight anymore. I think I've gotten so many concussions from my own explosives and Russian explosives, whatever, that I can't really see straight, so I will not jeopardize other people's lives if I don't have the reaction time to kill this motherfucker. So I say, like, I will stay back this time, and some other guys got put into the role of mine.
So I was first. I led us all into that tree that was slumped over, and I held there and I watched where the dude had engaged us the previous 2 times, while the other dudes went around me to try and go to the entry point. As they crossed the tree, the Russian engaged us again, and then me and my other buddy next to me, who's also Australian, we started engaging this guy so the rest of the team could move into the entry point. Right then and there, my weapon had stopped working, so my mate's weapon that I got given had the same issue as mine. So now I was left without a gun and only grenades. So I thought, fuck it, if we're going to do something, I may as well throw grenades. So I start lobbing grenades at this dude in the trench, trying to keep his fucking head down, and my mate's next to me trying to engage him. And my mate doesn't have night vision, which I didn't know at the time. And we're shooting, and the guys make entry into the trench at the entry point. And right as we're providing a covering fire, an AGS round lands about 10 meters away, I would say. And I'm like, fuck, get in the trench now. So we turn, we walk straight into the trench, and this part of the trench hasn't been cleared yet. So here I am with only grenades and a broken weapon, and my mate with a working weapon but no NVG. So he gets in, he leads, he walks into, we start clearing this side of the trench, we come to a bunker, and he turns, full autos his AK and starts blasting. And I can see from the muzzle flashes that he doesn't have night vision, and like he's half using the automatic fire to clear the bunker, but also using the flashes to see as well. I'm like, mate, do you have night vision? He's like, oh no, I don't. I'm like, all right, give me your AK. You start throwing grenades. So we clear the rest of that part of the trench, and then he links in with the rest of the guys to help. He passes them grenades and starts throwing them. So we clear that other part of the trench. I've now moved into that offshoot that I was on the second attempt, and I'm waiting for this dude who was now trapped in his bunker with the rest of the team. We're engaging him, and I was waiting for him to come out the other side of the bunker and run around, because I knew that if he does, then I'm there waiting for him, and I'll just be able to slot him as he comes around. So nice, quick and easy. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The guys engaging him, they got really close. We had one dude. So he pied the corner really close. The Russian engaged him.
Pieing the corner is when you're coming around a corner, right, and you start clearing the forward area in angles, like pie slices. So you clear a little bit, clear a little bit, clear a little bit, clear a little bit, little pie slices, right?
Rounds hit the wall next to him, really close. The Russian engaged him, the rounds hit the wall next to him, and my mate engaged him, and when he did, he had rounds, he had sparks flying off, and we think that he hit his AK, and he then retreated back into the bunker, and then we had to now decide how we were going to enter and kill him, right? So we had non-stops ready. So the guys over there announced that they're doing a non-stop. So I'm like, okay, right, they're going to prepare to blow it. And there was a Ukrainian drone in the bunker, which hadn't exploded. So there was explosives strapped to it, which at the time I also didn't know. So I'm looking at my little spot. I'm in my little spot here, looking down west to see if he's going to come out. I hear non-stop, and they throw it in, and I'm pretty sure for a second night turned to day, because the explosion was so big that it blew the logs on top of the bunker off into the sky. And I remember thinking, oh shit, they're gonna fucking land on one of my mates, holy fuck. And it was incredible. It lit up my night vision like fucking nothing I've ever seen. And it was spectacular. It was amazing. And I knew that anyone in that bunker is gonna be Swiss fucking cheese like after that. So
109 and Samara have been cleared. It was from there was a secondary objective south of those positions. There was a wood line that we wanted to set up trenches in. There was no Russian movement seen in that wood line referred to as Cossack. So we thought that wood lot or that line was not manned. 2 members from Chosen, as well as a team of Ukrainians, were able to leave position 109 and try and run to that wood line and try and start digging in. Our 2 guys that were with them were to provide security, and while the Ukrainians were able to dig.
The tree line we were pushing to ran north to south, so it was perpendicular to 109. And the 109 ran east to west to Samara. And then, but between 109 and the trail that the Russians were using to maneuver to these positions, there was a suspected, pretty much it was a known minefield. Gimli had a handheld thermal. I had nothing. The Ukrainians had nothing. So Gimli would use his thermal to scan the ground, and he would take a step, and then he'd scan the ground for his next step, and he'd put his foot there, and I would be watching, and the moment he lifted his foot, I would put my foot down right where he put his foot. So we were literally like one step behind each other, and then the Ukrainians did the exact same thing behind me. So Gimli and I, we made the decision, like, between the two of us, okay, we're gonna try and put these guys in. Like, if we have to do this, we're gonna try and give these guys the best chance of survival that we can, and we're gonna try and put them in as close to the Ukrainian side as possible. So like we went, made it to the tree line, or made it to the path, and then we started walking up the tree line. We went like maybe 50 meters, and then we stopped, and I was like, hey, what about here? And he was like, all right, like, let's see. And then he calls on the radio, hey, like, is it, like, we're gonna put him in here. And they're like, no, further. Went like another 20 meters. We're like, here. They're like, no, further. Went another 20 meters. No, what about here? Further. I'm looking back, and I can no longer even see, because now we're the tree line is between us and 109. So now the guys who are supposed to give us support, you know, one guy has ammo, they don't even have eyes on us now. And so like I'm leading and Gimli's behind me because I got the PKM, and eventually
This is where missions go bad.
I get to one spot and Gimli's like, and I'm like, what about here? And he's like, no, like they say keep going. And he walked past me, and he's like, he stops, and he's like, okay, they're saying here we could put him in. I'm just like, fuck. And he's maybe like 10 meters in front of me. I go up and I kneel down next to him. And we're on this path, and it's just a straight path for maybe like 300-400 meters. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, Gimli, I'm like, I'm gonna set my PKM up right here on this path. I'm like, I'm just gonna shift off into like the grass a little bit. I'm like, but I'm gonna look right down this path. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, this is perfect for a machine gun. I'm like, because if they try running down here to like get to us, they have to go in a straight line directly in front of my machine gun. I'm like, this is like a machine gunner's wet dream. It's just a full on, like, the Russians have to run at you in a file. It's like a shitty video game. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, but that means you got to take him into the tree line. I was like, once you're in the tree line, you guys start digging. I'm like, then I can come into the tree line and take up a position in front of you guys. I'm like, but while you guys are starting out, I was like, I got to stay out here. And it kind of sucked because that means I had no cover from anything. So if a Russian drone or anything came by, I'd be fully exposed. But for the immediate effect of it, it seemed like the best tactical idea. And when Gimli was walking in, we had a Baba Yaga drone above us, and we had another drone. I'm assuming it was a Mavic that was flying around watching everything. And they're asking for a sit rep on the radio. Again, the radios were just clogged up. So Gimli's got radio in one hand trying to give a sit rep. His other hand's holding the thermal, and no hands are on his gun. It's just slung on him. And right when he breaches the tree line, all I hear is contact front and just gunfire. Everything starts lighting up. And I watched Gimli and 2 Ukrainians just drop. I immediately dropped down on my gun, grabbed my gun, swung it off to the side. And so Gimli's like this. It's like Gimli, Ukrainian, myself. I shot from here all the way down, and I ended up doing like 100 rounds, just like heavy bursts. 4 Ukrainians behind me, they just started lighting up everything to like the right of Gimli. They just started spraying into the trees from there. And we did that for about a good 30, 40 seconds. And then I was like, ceasefire. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I was trying to see if Gimli was okay. There was a Ukrainian that was directly in front of me, and he was rolled onto his right side, and he's in the fetal position. He's looking at me, and I look at the Ukrainian to my right, and I got my PKM, so my PKM's pointed on an angle from this guy. And I'm like, okay. And I look at the guy to my right, and I'm like, grab him. I'm like, pull him. And I'm trying to tell him, like, reach up, pull him, get him out of my way, so I can open up my arcs, and we can start to crawl forward and try and get these guys. And instead of him like grabbing his leg or something and pulling him towards him, he tried crawling up to him to grab him and pull. And when he started crawling, he got maybe 2 feet. And when he got his hand on the guy, the tree line erupted again, and he ended up getting shot right there. And then a couple more guys to my right ended up getting shot. So now I got 3 wounded Ukrainians directly in front of me. I got a couple wounded Ukrainians directly to my right. Gimli's down in front of me, and I start spraying again into the tree line. The guys to my right start spraying into the tree line, and we cease fire again. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay, I need a reason to stay and fight. You know, I don't know what's in the tree line. We don't have the firepower, the manpower to push into the tree line, because we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know what the position looks like. We don't know if there's bunkers. We don't know like how many men are even there. What we do know is that the Russians have mortars, they have artillery, they got drones, and they got AGS. And they've been hammering the shit out of our guys all night. And now it's about 2 a.m, and it's only a matter of time before they start zeroing in on us and just start hammering us, because now they know exactly where we're at. And I was like, okay, if Gimli gives me a sign of life, we'll stay. Like, I'll fight, and I'll try and get up to him. If there's no sign of life, we got to get the fuck out of here. Because then it's if we all stay, we're all gonna die. If we don't stay, if we get out of there, we can take as many lives.
Holy shit, dude, what a shitty position. God damn.
With us, save as many lives as possible. And while I'm trying to call out for Gimli, I'm like, Gimli. And so as I'm calling out for Gimli, all I hear is like this like thump to my right. And I look to my right and I could just see a grenade laying there. And I could see past the grenade, I could see like a Ukrainian, and he's maybe 4 feet off to my right, and he's just looking at the grenade. He's just, and you know, time just slows way down. Like time dilution is already, was it time distortion? Everything, like a second feels like a minute. And my last thought is yeah, this is gonna hurt. And then wham, and it hits me. And it hit me to the point it rolled me onto my left side. And I throw myself down. And my first thought was, yep, that hurt. And then I can hear the Ukrainians screaming, and the tree line lights up again. And immediately when that hit me, I could feel like fire inside my chest, inside my right lung. And so very quickly I was able to assess if I feel the heat, like it literally felt like fire inside my chest. That meant that there was a hole going into my chest. That meant if my lung felt like it was on fire, that's the hot air from the blast. So I have a hole going into my chest. I'm like, it's gonna do one of two things. I'm either gonna bleed into my lung and drown if I stay there, or my chest cavity, it's gonna bleed into my chest cavity, and my chest cavity is gonna build up pressure and it's gonna crush my lung, and I'm gonna
Hemopneumothorax is what that's called.
asphyxiate. I'm like, I have a very limited amount of time to make a very
Pneumothorax is when air pressure gets in the chest cavity, creates too much pressure on your organs, and basically it shuts down your internal organs, you die. Hemopneumothorax is when air and blood effectively do the exact same thing. They fill up the cavity and they kill you.
a very right choice, a very hard choice to get these guys out of here, because if I die there, then those Ukrainians are just going to die next to me because they don't know what to do. I threw myself up onto my feet and I grabbed the first Ukrainian. I snagged on him. I was like, let's go, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here. And I gave him a tug and I ran down the path, and these Ukrainians started following me. And when I ran down to the part of the tree line where we crossed over, like on this path where we crossed over the minefield, I stopped and I seen a couple of Ukrainians ran past me to go to 107. They just kept going. They just kept running. They went to 107. And I'm running through this minefield, and I'm just like, each step, I'm just like, okay, you're floating. Just think you're floating, just go. You just got to make it to the trench. You just got to make it to the trench. Each step, I'm just getting one step closer, one step closer, one step closer. And I get to the trench, and I could just see their faces. They're just like looking at me like I'm fucking, they're expecting me at any moment to just explode. And I just like throw myself into the trench, and immediately they start grabbing at my gear, and they're like, you're hit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm hit pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I'm about to die. And they're like, holy fuck. They're like, the medic lifts up my shirt. He's like, you got a hole in your chest. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure I'm about to die. I'm like, you guys got to help Gimli. Gimli's still out there. I can't get to him. He's in the tree line. He's hit real bad. I can't get to him. He's looking over the rest of my body, and he's like, man, you got a lot of blood coming from your legs. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, your legs are hit. I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, hold on, I'm gonna put a tourniquet on. I was like, no. I was like, is it arterial? He's like, hold on. He pulls open my legs, and he's like, no, it's not arterial. I was like, then leave it. I was like, even though it's a lot of blood, because there's a lot of holes, I was like, just leave it. I was like, because if you put a tourniquet on it, I can't walk. I told him, I was like, I need to move as fast as I can, as far as I can, as fast as I can, while I can. I was like, I don't want to be the guy that you need to send out 6 dudes to carry me in a stretcher so that way a drone can come and smoke me and my friends. I was like, let me move as far as I can, as fast as I can. I was like, let me go. Let me go. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, let me move as fast as I can, as fast as I can, while I can. I was like, I don't want to be the guy that you need to send out 6 dudes to carry me in a stretcher so that way a drone can come and smoke me and my friends. I was like, let me move as far as I can, as fast as I can, while I can.
you know, I hear Dirty P on the radio basically saying, you know, he's wounded and he's coming back to 107 and he's trying to find our position. He bypassed our position and tried to get in on the north side of the bunker. But by this point, we already had, I think, like 2 or 3 wounded Ukrainians in our bunkers, so we were running out of space. And so he had to squeeze in as best as he could from on the north side of it. And Cass started helping him. And I was dealing with one of the other Ukrainians that had a wound to his leg.
So I throw myself down there, and Khan was in one area of the
We're 30 minutes in, but we're just gonna make this a long video because I want to see this shit.
bunker, a very loose term bunker, and Kaz was in a separate area. So I was with Kaz, but I couldn't see Khan, but I could hear him. And I could hear while I was there with Kaz that another Ukrainian that was with me came into the bunker, and I could hear Khan being like, Kaz, I need you. And Kaz is like, I'm working on P. And he's like, Khan was like, P, you're working on P? He's like, yeah, P's hit real bad. And he's like, fuck. And he's like, oh shit, this guy's got arterial bleeding. And I'm hearing Khan work on this Ukrainian. And I'm glad that Khan was doing. I know Khan doesn't like doing the medical stuff anymore, but he's unfortunately got a lot of experience because of where he always ends up. And he does a good job, and he's probably saved a bunch of lives.
Not too much long after, because Dirty P was able to still walk on his own for the most part, considering his injuries, he left on his own. But that's when we started to get word that, you know, that Gimli wasn't with us, that he was still out there. After some time, like, we tried to explore options of trying to get to Gimli and get him back, but we essentially weren't able to, just because they were ambushed by Russians that we didn't know about, that had actually these concealed and thermal blocking positions, just hasty little firing slits in the ground. And so that's why we never knew that they even occupied that portion of the trench. And so with all those unknown factors, we weren't able to make it to Gimli to get him back.
At that point, we had, you know, a few wounded from the mission. The Ukrainian relief came. I went back to the trench. We went back to 109, and all but, I believe, 4 of us were then back in 109, because the rest of our dudes have exfilled back to 107 and shovel. So I'm sitting there with the other team lead. I'm thinking, like, what the fuck do we do? How do we do this? And we just decide that it's too risky, because if we go there to get him, we're either going to get shot by the Russians or engaged by the AGS. So we decide to pull out. We make our way back to 107, and then we exfil early morning.
And once we got the shovel, artillery or mortars started coming down on Samara and 109, and those guys started getting hammered. I think this was when, like, the Russians probably realized what was going on and that we pulled out. So, like, they seen us go to that position, so they just wanted to smash it and get rid of all of us.
Eventually, everybody left that position except Khan and me. Our casualties got evacuated, luckily, and Khan and me were just kind of sitting there like, did they forget we exist? And so, you know, every now and then we pop our head out, and we don't really have radio reception at this point. Like, the radios were just fucked. We kept getting hammered by mortars and everything. Some mortars landed directly on top of our blindage, so that was not cheesy. AGS got us pretty decent. They had the entrance to our blindage locked in, or sighted in. So, you know, whenever you would pop your head out, literally a couple seconds later, go like, and we're like, oh. At this point, Connor and me are just like, should we try? Like, do we go back? Like, nobody's talking to us. Nobody's even mentioning or listening to us on the radio. And So we kind of get ready, we get our shit together, we make sure we have some of the wounded guys' kit as well. We start hearing someone approach, and at first we're like, oh, fuck, we're gonna get pushed. And so we're kind of sitting there like, well, and then we hear Amerikanski, and one of the lads from the assault team just jumps in, and he's like, we have to leave, like, we gotta go now.
Once I got the word, okay, go ahead, leave the bunker, start going back. I set my rifle outside the entrance of the bunker, and I was just about to poke my head out of the entrance, and then a mortar just lands directly on top, like right above my head. And luckily there were some logs right there, and it was like just this quick, like 2 seconds. I just don't remember anything. It was just a sudden blackout, and then there's a lot of confusion. I'm just sitting there like looking around for a second, and then Cass like reaches over me and he starts patting me down, and he's like, yo, like, you good? And I was like, oh shit, like, I think I'm good.
I've had mortars land very close to the top of our bunker, but never directly on top of it. It was always a concern of mine because, if you're lucky, you've got a bunker with those thick logs, probably like what he's talking about, over the top. But some of them just have, sometimes there's not shit. Maybe there's a tarp and some sticks and leaves and shit, brush that they pile on top, I've never had one land directly on top, but that would, just the ones that are even nearby will shake you up, let alone right directly on top of your bunker. No way, man. That'd be gnarly.
Feel anything, my head hurts, but yeah, I think I'm good.
Actually, it knocked Khan out for a couple seconds, and we're like, oh fuck. And yeah, it actually fucked up the stuff that we had laying in front of the blindage. And so Khan and me are still kind of joking about it. We're like, oh, good call. Because the idea was that, we go out, we grab, we run. And so if we had gone out and would have grabbed it, then whoever would have grabbed it at the time would pretty much would have gotten fucked up.
I crawled out and just looked over, and luckily my rifle was still there. I grabbed it and I stood up, took like 3 steps, and then just fell over. I don't know. It was like I just had no sense of balance, and then it was like, oh fuck. Stood up, took like 3 more steps, fell over again. Stood up, 3 more steps, fell over. And then by this point, like, I just took a quick knee for a second, just try to gather myself and, get my bearings straight. And then I stood up again, and then I yelled back to Cass. I was like, Cass, I can't keep my balance. And he was like, okay, just try to keep going. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so while I was walking back, I
rattled his brain for sure, man.
Met Phoenix. He was on like a stretcher thing, like a rolly thing, and his foot was blown off. The first thing I asked, like, what happened? He hit a minefield, and I asked where, and I said it was not the one behind position shovel, was it? And he said yes. And the first thing Phoenix says is like, I'm sorry. And I told him like, no, it's fine, man. It's not my leg. I don't know, like bad jokes. And he didn't laugh. And we rolled him back to the Casevac point again. We're trying to stabilize him.
Ryder, this is Ollie. Give it to me. Take my rifle. You're doing great, Phoenix. Ryder, this is Ollie. Put this underneath him a little bit. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's a clean blow off. God, that almost looked like it was cut off. It was so clean.
We gotta grab him by the bends and by the arms. Yeah.
This is why they designed some of those anti-personnel mines the way they do, is because you can see here, it completely severs the foot. So now the whole unit, the whole team, the whole fire team is immobile basically. They have to basically carry this casualty. They have to all group up together. It fucks up everything. So those anti-personnel mines aren't always there to kill. They're made to maim.
Here, 1, 2. Oh, you're not that heavy anymore. The Humvee is coming now.
Yeah.
The Humvee comes, and when the Humvee comes, I look into the Humvee, and there's another guy there.
Hey, yo, Beef. How are you?
A big American guy called Beef. He's also missing a leg. So what happened was, Phoenix was point man, and Beef was right behind him. Phoenix hits the mine. The first thing you do when someone hits a mine is to stand still. But in the fog of war, you have been fighting for so long, and or you just forget. Beef runs up to him to help him, and when Beef takes a knee to help him, Beef, what we think is Beef hit the mine with his shin because his foot was still there, but like everything on the heel was like gone.
Looking a bit more. I can't feel my fucking legs. I will leave my weapon here. Let's go.
The exfil could have gone smoother, but you know we only lost one on that op. So as unfortunate as it is, but it was a success at the very least. We took 109 in Samara, what we were meant to do, and then the tree line to the south was a nice to have but not a need, essentially. So, and yeah, that's my first time fighting effectively at night. It's definitely an experience. I think fighting at night's probably one of the scariest things I have to do, because even though we have the advantage with night vision to see, you're still limited in your senses. So it's it's definitely a strange experience and a very scary but exciting one as well.
And I'm in the back of this ambulance, and we get to the hospital, and one of the guys who was originally out there, but he went back in with the first group for a TBI. He brought us like our hospital bags, just like our bags with like our cell phones, clothes, stuff like that. And he told us that the Russians executed Gimli. Yeah, he was still alive, and they pulled him out of the tree line. They put a bullet in his head, and they did it like in front of a drone. Yeah. Even to this day, like I don't know if, like I know tactically I made the right call, but like camaraderie or emotionally or however you want to put it, like it doesn't feel like I made the right call. It's definitely changed the way I look at things, and definitely changed the way I look at the guys that are around me, and how I look at who I want to go into battle with.
Those sick fucks, man. They pulled him out, shot him in the head. That would be so tough.
You know, I was definitely proud.
Being in this guy's Dirty P's position, man. You know, unfortunately, Gimli's dead, right? He can't feel one way or the other about the situation at this point. But Dirty P has to live with the fact that he had to leave his man out there. And what if, right? It's always the what ifs. What if I laid down another belt of ammo and we were able to get up and get Gimli? What if we threw grenades and we were able to smoke? Or, you know, it's always the what ifs. That's tough. And like he said, he made the right call tactically. It saved his life and probably a bunch of the Ukrainians that he was with as well. So he shouldn't beat himself up about it, but he will.
I'd be part of Chosen Company back then.
All right, boys. With my luck, I'm gonna pass my helmet and I get buried in this fucking trench.
Hi, Mom. I'm having a great time training people in Yarraville.
We got back there, Dane and Phoenix.
Dad still thinks I'm the British Army, don't worry.
Dane's got a lot more hair than I remember.
Yes, doesn't he?
Right? So we got Phoenix, then we got Dane, then we got Finian, then we got Kevin, and then we got Shaggy, and we got Gimli. and then me, obviously.
I still want my steak.
Do I?
Oh.
Are you just going to show everybody your artwork? Here we go.
Yes, I'm helping.
Show the world this beautiful face.
No.
We bought him at the lawn care center in the gnome section at Walmart.
Wow.
And
He's a dwarf. That's why he mines.
we bring him with us everywhere we go.
It's instinctual. He's around dirt. He has to mine. It's a dwarf.
I can't stop touching dirt.
Well,
that explains why you're here.
That's a good one, Jay.
There's more pictures in this chat than all my family has.
We are your family.
Yeah, there's some things in life you never forget. Like, we all should have died that night, and like the Russians should have slaughtered us. I think we got lucky being able to get away. I think the choice I made tactically was the proper choice. I think I wish I would have just pushed into the tree line, but I don't think people understand just how hard of a choice that is, given the situation. Because like, if you push into the tree line, that could have been the wrong call, and all of us could have died. Unfortunately, Gimli paid the price for that choice. But the other 7 of us are still here, and I'm still here ready to fight.
Oh, hold on. That was great, by the way. Fucking, oh shit. That, nothing but respect to these guys. Like I said, I've met with Dane, the Dane guy with that got his hand blown, part of one of his fingers blown off or whatever. I met with him a week or 2 ago, and he's a very nice guy, solid, real deal. It's real shitty that, again, I'm not going to criticize anything these guys did, right? Because there's nuances and dynamics that I don't know that happened during this mission. A lot of these guys are more experienced than I am as far as tactics and military strategy and all that. But when Dirty P and Gimli kept radioing back, hey, can we stop here? And they said, command said, keep going. They said, okay, can we stop here? Keep going. Can we stop here? Keep going. Can we? Then finally, they did it so much that they just walked into the fucking enemy. It just feels avoidable to me. I wonder how Dirty P really feels about that specific situation. Like, he's obviously not going to disparage anything about the Legion. This is on the Legion official YouTube, but that's tough, man. Fuck. Hey, awesome video. Nothing but respect to the Chosen guys. Rest in peace, Gimli. That's devastating, man. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. If you want to join Azov, check out the links below. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.